Welcome to Your Success Podcast. We give you actionable insight and stories behind real-life success wherever you go. Here are your hosts, Angelos and Mo.
Welcome to Your Success Podcast. I'm Angelos.
And I'm Mo.
And today we're talking about dealing with haters. So we're going to talk about why do haters exist, what is their motivation, how might that hatred be expressed, and then how to deal with these haters. So Mo, haters, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think haters, we should define what a hater is, I suppose. So a hater would be someone that doesn't appreciate what you're doing, maybe, is a polite way to put it.
Yeah, someone who is quite determined for you not to succeed.
Yeah, and maybe tears into you online. So maybe put some negative comments in some of the posts that you're putting on online. Not you specifically, but maybe.
Not.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's try and reverse engineer it. You know, where are they coming from? Why do haters exist?
So I think in some parts, haters exist because they don't understand what you're doing or why you're doing it. So I think the core thing is really a lack of understanding as to what your actual intention is. Because if you're actually genuinely trying to do something good in the world, there isn't any reason for anyone to not appreciate that. So I think probably the first part is they don't understand what you're doing.
Yeah, and sometimes you will attract them just by the sheer nature of what you're doing. So for example, if you're a very positive person, you give out a lot of positive vibes, you will attract, unfortunately, negative people. And it seems that the bigger you get, the more successful you are, the more likely you are to attract haters. And I think that's also a reflection of not necessarily about what you are or what you're doing, but more a reflection about who they are and maybe where they're not in their lives. So for example, if you're doing really, really well in your business, for example, property or whatever it may be, and they're not, or they haven't started, or there's a great frustration, they could potentially, by proxy, take out their frustration. Rather than looking inwards, they're saying, well, this guy here, I don't believe he's done this. I don't like how he's doing this. He's too flash. His hair is too good to do property. Let's try and take him down. Know your station.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I think people take it very personally. If they get any kind of hate or anything like that, they generally tend to take it very personally. And actually, as you said, it's more about the other person and then projecting their insecurities or whatever has happened to them onto you rather than about a specific attack on your character. Because in the most part, people probably don't know other people well enough to be able to make any kind of judgment.
But it's quite insidious, Mo, because sometimes you see it on online forums or sometimes you hear about it in person where perhaps they don't attack you directly, saying, Mo, I don't like what you're doing, or I don't like you. They'll say, they'll start off softly. So it's like the softly approach where they go, yeah, Mo, he's bought a few properties lately. What do you think about that? And it's insidious, and then it becomes this character assassination. And I think that if you don't necessarily agree with how people are, there is a way of talking about it, if you need to even talk about it at all. Small minds talk about people, medium minds talk about events, and then enlightened minds talk about ideas. And sometimes, we are humans after all. We do sometimes revert to our animalistic behaviours, and we do, we try not to. We do judge others. And if that does happen in my world, I just remind myself of those three things, and just, is that really the best use of my time to be character assassination of someone, as opposed to thinking about my own life and my own ideas of where I need to be?
And absolutely, and it's another reason to not spend too much time on Facebook and things like that, I think, because there can be a lot of that going around, and it can just eat into your time, and sometimes it turns into a bit of a soap drama. Is that a word? Soap drama?
Yeah.
Soap opera?
Soapy drama.
Soapy drama. And it can turn into sort of a bit of a soap opera, and there's like storylines and different players, and you think, what am I doing? Like, this isn't actually...
It's such an inefficient use of your time.
Definitely.
And that, there are people out there grabbing the popcorn. This is real life EastEnders. Let's just go and grab some snacks because this is going to blow up, and people live for it.
Yeah,
and it's sad. But there is a place for being challenged, so we're not
Definitely.
against that, because, for example, if you can withstand that challenge in a professional environment, then good on you. And sometimes there are legitimate concerns, and maybe they're expressed to emotionally, but I think if you can remove that element of emotion and you can still back up your claims or back up what you're doing to these haters, you're never going to convince everyone. And that isn't your job either, because there will always be people who don't like what you do, just out of principle.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's good. It is good to be held accountable, which I think is what you're talking about. You need other people in communities that you're in to hold you accountable, but that doesn't mean sort of.
Yeah, it's not open season to just take down this person because you don't like the look of them. I mean, that's not right. But also, people who put themselves out on a public forum also need to have a little bit of a thicker skin than normal, because if you are going to make extraordinary claims about your success, then be prepared to be challenged, and also be prepared for people to have a pop at you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've put down some other reasons why haters exist, or what is their motivation. So it could be potentially that they're just having a bad day themselves and they're just lashing out. And I think we have to have empathy for people that are going through a whole host of different things in their lives, that whatever they say, whether that's personally directed towards you or whether it's on a public forum, might not be what they actually mean. It might be that they're just having a bad day and they're lashing out. So we have to have empathy for that as well. And again, not take it personally is the key message.
And the key point here is, if you get an email, let's say, and it's not necessarily a good email, it's a spiteful email coming at you, is not to reply straight away. Do not make big decisions when you're emotionally charged, because the chances are you will make a wrong decision, especially when you're not thinking clearly. So what I tend to do is receive the email from ex-hater.
Ex-hate here.
Yeah, whoever that might be. Write down the response that you would do.
Yeah.
As in, like, you son of a bitch, how dare you, blah, blah. Delete it.
Yeah.
And then say, "Dear sir, thank you for your feedback." To quote the great Rob Moore, "Thank you for your feedback. I really appreciate it. Obviously, I don't agree with this at X, Y, and Z, but stay positive, stay happy." And that will probably piss them off more than anything else.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the best way to do it. And we've talked about people projecting their own experiences onto you. They could have, and it could be they could be looking out for you. It could be that they've actually had a bad experience with a particular type of investment or business or someone they've worked with, and they're actually just trying to help you out in a sort of roundabout way. But again, it's just to not take it too personal, because they probably don't know the full situation of what you're going through.
I mean, there's different levels of hatred. I mean, hatred is a very strong word, but there are some naysayers out there. For example, parents. And they may not understand what you're trying to do because they're used to a 9-to-5 job, whereas you'll want to be a successful entrepreneurial business owner, for example, in their own belief system, their own mind. All they know about is a job, and that is what's safe and comfortable. Whereas, let's say you and I, we want to become entrepreneurs and we want to do lots of great things in life, and they're not doing it because they want to take you down. They're doing it because they're trying to keep you safe, because that's what they know and that's what's comfortable for them. So take criticism on board, but just know when to really let it sink in, but also know when to just let it go off your back, really, like off a duck's back, just float off. You don't have to take every single thing that people say on board.
No, absolutely. So how might the hatred be expressed? So we've talked a little bit about this already. So it could be online via social media, which is probably the most prevalent form at the moment, just because it's so easy.
I mean, there's so many keyboard warriors out there. I have met some incredible warriors online. I mean, they are the hardest people I've ever met in my whole life. They can knock out Bruce Lee, Muhammad Ali. You couldn't touch them. I mean, the incredible power these guys have. But you ever challenge them face to face, and I guarantee you they will shirk away very, very quickly. It's a responsibility to use the internet. I really do think that, and it's too easy for people to have a real pop at someone online anonymously, and I don't think that's a very good thing at all.
It's easy for you to say.
Or not. I've got a hater right here.
Who needs friends, eh? When you've got haters in your network. So it could also be more directly. So it could be via text or via email, as you mentioned, or it could be things like to the extent of stalking. Does that count being a hater?
Is
that so far the other end?
It's an extreme level of hatred stroke passion, isn't it?
You could love someone so much that you hate them.
You end up, I mean, look at what happened to Jill Dando and what happened there. That stalker went OTT massively and ended up killing the person that he was obsessed with. So that was borderline hatred stroke love. But you don't want to be going down that road. And to deal with haters, you really want to be either ignoring them or challenging them and then just walking away. You can't be engaging with them unless it's a constructive criticism and a constructive discussion. Just walk away, man, because they'll just suck all time. And also it's mind space as well. You've got the ego aspect. I lost against this person in this argument, or I won. You're going to lose either way. You're wasting your time. There's no point having a discussion with someone who has the mental ability of, let's say, a 3-year-old. It's like discussing politics with a 3-year-old. You're never going to win. And why go down to that level?
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, so definitely ignore is the first step. Become successful. Is that a good way to deal with them?
Well, Mo, if I can make a cheeky plug for our book, which is released on the 24th of September.
What book's that?
It's just called Your Success by Angelos and Mo.
Oh, okay, great.
Really great book on how to be successful. But I wrote a line in the book which I'm really proud of. So when dealing with haters, I said this.
I know what you're going to say.
Let them chew wasps in your success shade.
Oh dear. What happened to that line?
It got scrubbed, but then when I found out it got scrubbed, it got reinstated very quickly. The point is that, look, at the end of the day, if you're holding a burning piece of coal in your hand, and that is representative of the hatred you have for someone, you're only hurting yourself. Just let it go, man. There's no point holding on to that. Just let it go.
And what was it that James said last night at the meeting? He said... it's like, he was talking about forgiveness, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He said, if you don't forgive someone, it's like, which is similar to, I think it applies in this sense, if you don't forgive someone, it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Yeah.
Which I thought was quite, not nice, but,
Yeah, it summarises it well, because if you let the haters into your life and into your mind, they are just occupying your mind space. They win by default.
Yeah.
Deal with them quickly, savagely if need be, or just ignore them and then just walk away, man. You're never going to convert everyone, and nor should you expect to, because otherwise you'll spend all your life trying to please everyone. That's what it's not all about.
And we've got another one here, which is actually help them out. So it could be that, and I do know instances where this happened, where I'm not going to mention now, but you can turn haters into raving fans if you really treat them really well. And actually, even from a customer service point of view, if you're in a customer service business, you can turn people that have had a really terrible experience and would be classed on the sort of one end of the spectrum as haters. You can turn them into raving fans eventually, just purely by the way you treat them and how you react to things that go wrong. Because in any business, things are going to go wrong and mistakes are going to be made. And it's really how you react to them and how you deal with them that is what the important thing.
Yeah.
Why are you smiling?
We'll talk about it privately.
Okay.
It was just reminded me of a story there. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You can turn a hated, well, let's say a customer who really despises you because of a slight, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
You can turn them around pretty easily, I would say, if you listen to them and you work with them and you've got systems and processes in place to either refund or give them something extra and go above and beyond what is expected. That is how you convert a hater into someone who actually goes, I had a one-off experience with these guys. It wasn't great, but my God, their customer service is outstanding. And what is it? If you have a good experience with a company, you tell one or two people.
Yeah.
If you had a bad experience, then you tell a lot more.
So
it's really important to convert those people who aren't your fans. And like you said earlier, if it's a personal attack, then there's nothing worse than becoming a great success just to really piss them off.
Yeah, I totally agree. One thing I wanted to mention was in terms of not taking it personally and putting things into perspective and into context, there are various examples of celebrities who have, despite having thousands and thousands of really positive comments and likes and things on their social media pages, they'll have one or two negative comments and that will be the thing they'll focus on. So it's not like if you've got a 1,000 positive ones, but then one negative one, it outweighs it. It's like that's what they'll focus on.
Yeah, it's interesting because let's say, for example, Amazon.
Yeah.
You write a book.
Yeah.
Okay. Your Success book, 24th September.
How do you register for the launch?
Just go to yoursuccesspodcast.com and /book and just enter in your details. It's that easy, Mark.
Is it?
Yeah,
I might do that. Let me just do that now.
Definitely worth doing. Yeah. But one thing you'll notice is that authors, when they put out their book, I've spoken to a few authors as part of our research for this book, and instead of focusing on, let's say, the 100 good reviews they've got, they will focus on that 1 or 2 reviews which are really negative, and it will get to them. And you think, I understand, because it's quite a personal thing writing a book. You're exposing part of your soul, I guess, and your knowledge and your credibility out there. It shouldn't be disproportionate. If, let's say, 99% are negative, then maybe you've done something wrong. But listen to the reviews, because maybe they have a legitimate point, but don't take it in. Don't take it personally. You can't please everyone.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And the other thing that we wanted to talk about was just the fact that if you're doing anything out of the ordinary and you're going out there and you're trying to make a difference in the world, or you're trying to do something a little bit different, you are going to attract some haters. I think that's pretty much inevitable.
So by creating change or disruption, you're going to create friction.
Yeah.
And you're going to go against people who, let's say, they've been around for a lot longer than you have. They know better than you, for example, and you're trying to change an industry or you're trying to change society, then you will attract friction, and that is where the hatred could build. But if you believe in what you're doing and your vision and your plan is bigger than dealing with a few haters, then just crack on that, because that's what it's all about, making a difference in life.
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to know your thoughts on haters and what you do to handle them. So please send us an email at hello@yoursuccesspodcast.com or get in touch on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
So thank you for listening to Your Success Podcast. Please click subscribe, leave us a review, and we look forward to your comments on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe to our book launch, which we may have mentioned already.
Once or twice.
At tiny.cc/yourbook.
What's that again?
So that's tiny.cc/yourbook. So I've been Angelos.
And I've been Mo.
And see you again on the next exciting episode of Your Success Podcast.
You have been listening to Your Success Podcast. Click subscribe for more incredible content. More details can be found at www.yoursuccesspodcast.com.